Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to learn about phylum Chordata. This is the ninth phylum of kingdom Animalia, and this phylum is also known as phylum Vertebrata. So as the name reflects, all the members of this particular phylum, they have vertebral column. Okay, vertebral column is actually also known as backbone, and this vertebral column is made up of many number of small bones, and one single bone is known as vertebrae. You have to remember that this is not a continuous column. I mean, it's not made up of one single bone. It's made up of many number of small bones, and one bone is known as vertebrae. And also, this vertebral column is not solid. It's actually hollow from the center. For example, in our body, human beings, vertebral column is made up of 33 small bones, and one single bone is known as vertebrae. Okay, and through this particular vertebral column runs the entire spinal cord. So this vertebral column in our body actually provides support to the central nervous system of our body. Okay, because spinal cord forms the part of central nervous system, isn't it? So it provides support to the central nervous system of our body. Similarly, vertebral column in other members of phylum Chordata provides support to the central nervous system or to the entire body, right? Further, this particular phylum is classified into 5 different classes. The first class is class Pisces, which it comprised of different types of fish. So all the types of fish in this world comes under class Pisces. Then comes class Amphibia, which includes all your frogs, salamanders, etc. Then comes class Reptilia. It includes all your reptiles like alligators, crocodiles, snakes, lizards, and other organisms. Then fourth class is class Aves. This class is made up of all the birds. Okay, so every type of bird comes under class Aves. And the fifth class is class Mammalia. This class Mammalia, actually we human beings, we come under class Mammalia. So it includes all your marsupials like kangaroos, then human beings, bats, rabbits, elephants, lion, tiger, every animal comes under class Mammalia. So one by one we will look into these particular classes, and you have to compare these classes on features like presence or absence of hair, presence or absence of scales on the body, then whether they lay egg or they give birth to the young ones directly. Apart from this, how many number of limbs are present in them, then what kind of breathing organs they have, then also what is the thermoregulation in them, how they regulate their internal body temperature, whether they are warm-blooded or cold-blooded animals. So one by one we'll look into these classes. So let's begin with the first class, class Pisces. This class is completely comprised of different types of fish. So here in this picture you can see a very basic diagram of fish is given. Okay. One thing which you have to remember is that the entire body of this fish is having streamlined body shape. The purpose of having streamlined body shape is it helps fish to easily swim in the water. Okay, it reduces water resistance on the body of fish. Fine. So they have streamlined body shape. Apart from this, they have all these fins which are mentioned in the picture here, like dorsal fin, anal fin, caudal fin, pectoral and pelvic fin. They don't have any limb. Only these fins are present, which supports and helps fish in the movement throughout the water. For example, this caudal fin or this caudal tail, which is mentioned here in the picture, it moves sideways, like it flaps sideways like this and helps fish to move front. Okay, then this dorsal fin and other fins like anal, pectoral and pelvic fins, they helps in the balancing of the body, and they also helps in steering. Steering, the meaning of steering is like we have the steering wheel in the car. Okay, it controls the direction. So same with these fins, they helps in balancing of the body and also in like controlling the direction of the body of fish. Fine. As you can also see in the picture, the entire body of fish is also covered with many scales. Okay, so this is a very important characteristic of this particular class. The entire body is covered with scales. Okay, it's covered with scales. Uh, when we talk about breathing organs, okay, so here you can see one particular part. This part is not labeled in the picture, but this part is known as operculum. What it is called? Operculum. Okay, it's like a flap, it's like a small covering. If we'll just gently uh, take this covering and look inside it, you can easily see the gill slits. So fishes, they have gills in their body, and with the help of gills they absorb or they take oxygen from the water present in the sea. Okay, so the breathing organs in fish is gills. They breathe with the help of gills. And apart from this, fish, they are all oviparous. The meaning of word oviparous is they lays egg outside the body. Okay, they lays egg into the water, and in them external fertilization takes place. Okay, male fish, male fish, they release this sperms into the water, and in water itself the fertilization will take place, and then fish larvae will be formed, and which will later on they'll grow and develop into adult fishes. Fine. So in them external fertilization takes place. They lays egg into the water. They're all oviparous, and then they have scales on the body. Fine. And they have fins. They have streamlined body shape, etc. And when we talk about thermoregulation, that means the control, or the maintenance of internal body temperature. So they are all ectotherm. The meaning of word ectotherm is they cannot regulate or maintain their internal body temperature constant. Their internal body temperature is not constant. It keeps on changing as the temperature in their surrounding water changes. Fine. So as the temperature around them in their surrounding changes, their internal body temperature will also change. The internal body temperature never remains constant. Hence, they are also known as cold-blooded animals. Okay, they are also known as cold-blooded animals. Next class is class Amphibia. Now, here when you look at these particular pictures, the first picture, it represents a salamander, and here it is frog. So in by looking at the picture itself, you can see that they don't have any fins like fish. Fine. Okay, they have 4 limbs. How many limbs are present here? They have 4 limbs. Plus, when you look at the skin is like very moist. By looking at the picture itself, you can say the skin is moist, and scales are absent in the fish. Okay, scales are absent in class Amphibia. Okay, scales are absent in class Amphibia. Fine. They don't have scales. They have only moist skin. Fine. They don't have scales. And they have 4 limbs in their body. Apart from this, they are also all oviparous. They release egg into the surrounding water where they live. Actually, amphibians can live on both land as well as in water. So they prefer to lay eggs in water. Okay, and they lay eggs like fish, in clusters. Many thousands of eggs are released actually at a time, and these eggs are again externally fertilized by sperms released by the male organisms, and outside the body of the female itself, the entire embryo or entire egg develops into larva, and then larva develops into adult. Fine. So in them external fertilization takes place. They are also oviparous like fish. Okay, they have moist skin. Scales are absent in them. They have 4 limbs. And when we talk about thermoregulation, like fish, they are also cold-blooded organisms. Okay, they cannot control or you can say they cannot keep their internal body temperature constant. The internal body temperature keeps on changing as the temperature in their surrounding changes. Fine. One last point about class Amphibia. When we talk about the breathing organs, very important, you have to remember the larval form of the larval form of these amphibians. Okay, because these larvas, they present inside the water. because they are they are under development, right? So when they are when we talk about the larval form, all these larvas of class Amphibia, they have gills in them. Okay, what they have gills as a breathing organ in them. But as these larval forms develop, gills are removed or replaced by lungs, because these adults, they can live in both water as well as on land. So gills are replaced by lungs. So these adults, when they are present on land, they breathe with the help of lungs. But when they go inside the water, what happens at that time is they breathe with the help of their skin. So that's the reason they have here moist skin, because this moist skin is very important for absorbing oxygen from the surrounding water, right? So moist skin is required for absorbing oxygen from the surrounding water. Hence, all the members of class Amphibia, they have moist skin. So the larval form have gills, and in adults, the gills are replaced by lungs, because adults can easily survive on land. Okay, and when these adults say go to the water, inside the water, they breathe with the help of their moist skin. Fine. Third class is class reptiles. Okay, class reptiles, by looking at the picture itself, you can say, the entire body is covered with scales, but these scales are completely, dry, very dry. So the entire body of class reptiles is covered with dry scales. They are also oviparous, they lay egg, but they live on the ground completely. Okay, so they lays egg which is covered with a kind of rubbery, or you can say a leathery shell. In them, actually internal fertilization takes place. Fine. So after internal fertilization occurs in them, they lay egg in the safe place, and the eggs are covered with shell, but the shell is not hard. Okay, the shell is actually rubbery or leathery. You might have seen the eggs, or eggs of the birds, or the normal egg which we eat at our home. Okay, the eggs of hen, that's actually covered with a very hard shell. The reason is because birds actually sit on the eggs during incubation, in order to develop, or in order to grow the chicks inside the eggs. The bird has to incubate the eggs, and birds sit on the egg. Okay, so that's why the eggs of birds are covered with hard shells. But in case of reptiles, this incubation of eggs takes place by the natural heat of sun, or by the natural heat present in their surrounding, or natural heat of earth. Okay, these reptiles, they never incubate their own eggs, so that's the reason that their eggs are covered with leathery or rubbery shells. Okay, they are oviparous like other two classes. Then they are also cold-blooded. Okay, they are ectotherms. They cannot keep their internal body temperature constant. They keep on changing their temperature as the temperature of their surrounding changes. Okay, and they have 4 limbs. Snakes obviously has no limbs, but here this chameleon, this is a chameleon. You can see the chameleon is having 4 limbs. Okay, and a long tail. Apart from this, their body is completely covered with dry skin. Fine. Next class is class aves. Okay. Class aves is actually consist of all the birds, different types of birds. So here in the picture also you can see class, this particular bird is actually having a beak and wings. So this is a characteristic feature of all the birds. They have beak and wings. Okay. Remember that in them only 2 limbs are present and 2 wings are present. Actually, when evolution was taking place, so the 4 limbs in the birds were actually, modified into wings. So how wings have arisen? There were 4 limbs, and there were 4 limbs present in birds. The 4 limbs means the limbs which are present in the front. The front 2 legs were actually modified into wings. And these birds are like, they're very light in weight, and the entire body of this bird is covered with fur. Sorry, not fur. The entire body of birds are actually covered with feathers. Okay, fur is the characteristic feature of mammals, not aves. Okay, so entire body of Aves is covered with feathers. Fine. And then these birds, they also lay eggs, and they are oviparous, okay, like other three classes, and they lays egg which are covered with hard shells, because these birds have to sit on the egg and incubate them. So the eggs are actually covered with hard shells. Unlike other three classes, these birds are actually warm-blooded, or they are endotherms. That means their internal body temperature is constant. Okay, they don't change it as per their surrounding. So if there's any change in the surrounding temperature, the internal body temperature of birds will not change. Okay, they keep it constant. Fine. So they are known as endotherms or warm-blooded animals. Okay. And like reptiles, these birds also have lungs as a breathing organ. Fine. In reptiles, the breathing organ is lungs. Here in class Aves also, the breathing organ is lungs. Last class is class Mammalia. As you can look here in the picture itself, three very important characteristic features of class Mammalia are: they have body hair or fur. Okay. Now the presence of hair or fur depends on the animal's location. For example, if we talk about polar bear, they're mammals, they live in such a cold region or cold place, so they require thick fur around their body, isn't it, in order to store or maintain their internal body temperature. And we human beings or other mammals like tiger, lion, rabbits and all, we all have body hair. Okay, so one of the very important characteristic feature of class Mammalia is the entire body is covered with hair or fur. Then they have these external ears. You can see here, prominently visible in the picture. They have these external ears, which is known as pinna. What it is called? Pinna or pinnae. Okay, pinnae is plural. So they have these external ears. And the last one is, all these members of class Mammalia, they have mammary glands. The females, I'm talking about females. With the help of mammary glands, these females actually suckle their young ones. The meaning of suckle is they nourish or they feed their young ones with the help of the mammary glands. So all the members of class Mammalia, they have body hair, external ears and mammary glands. Fine. Apart from this, class Mammalia members, they are all viviparous. The meaning of word viviparous is they do not lay eggs directly. Okay, they actually give birth to the young ones directly. They do not lay eggs, they give birth to the young ones directly. So that means the entire development of the baby takes place inside the mother's body, and once the development completes, the baby is given birth directly. Okay, so they are all viviparous. Like birds, they're also warm-blooded animals. They're also endotherms because they're able to keep their internal body temperature constant. They do not change it as per the temperature of their surrounding. And they have mammary glands. They have four limbs. Like amphibians and reptiles, they also have four limbs. Fine. So this particular slide actually represents entire table in which you can compare these 5 classes based on these general features. Okay, so when we talk about scales, it is present in fish, okay, and present in reptiles. In fish, it is actually soft and moist skin, but here in case of reptiles, dry scales are present. In amphibians, moist slimy scales are present. Slimy skin is present. There are no scales. Okay, and in birds and mammals, scales are completely absent. When we talk about body hair, okay, body hair, mammary gland, and external ears. Fine. Body hair, mammary gland, and external ears. They are absent in all the classes of class Mammalia except mammals. Okay, they are absent in all the classes of phylum Chordata except mammals. Okay, so these 3 are the characteristic features of only mammals. Then eggs, fish, amphibians, reptiles and birds, they are all oviparous because they lays egg outside their body. Only mammals are viviparous. Viviparous means they give birth to the young ones directly. Okay, fish lays eggs in water Amphibians also lays eggs in water because in them external fertilization takes place. In case of reptiles, eggs are laid outside the body on land, but these eggs are covered with rubbery shells. Okay. Birds, they lay eggs with hard shells. Breathing organs, in fish it is gills. In amphibians it is gills during the larval stage of development, and in adults it is skin and lungs. Lungs are used when they are present on land, and skin is used when the adult amphibian is present inside the water. In reptiles, birds and mammals it is lungs. Thermoregulation, fish, amphibians, reptiles are all ectotherm. They are cold-blooded animals, and birds and mammals are endotherm. They are warm-blooded animals. Okay, their internal body temperature is constant. It does not change as the temperature of their surrounding changes. And the last one is limbs of fins. In fish, fins are present, okay, which helps in, like, movement of the fish, balancing of the body and steering of the fish. That means direction of the movement is controlled by these fins. Then amphibians have 4 limbs. Reptiles also have 4 limbs. In case of birds, 2 limbs and 2 wings are present. The front 2 legs or the front 2 limbs are actually modified into the wings during the process of evolution. And in case of mammals, we have 4 limbs. Fine. So I hope you have clearly understood the entire topic, and just remember this particular table as per the exam point of view. Okay, it's very important. Thank you. Only this much in this video. Next we will continue in the upcoming videos. Okay, take care till then. Bye bye.